Welcome to another interview today. We have a top agent. Actually, this is a special interview today. I've never interviewed anyone on my real estate team, so this is phenomenal. Super happy to have Carter on here. So, if you guys are not familiar with these interviews, this is where we interview top agents that are building their brand, their rev share with the eXp Realty brand, and we're really excited to have Carter on today. Carter, welcome to the interview.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today. I'm very excited to answer some questions, put my story out there, and it's an honor. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you're watching this right now and you're a relatively new agent, I think you're going to resonate with this conversation a lot today. So make sure you just stay tuned, stay engaged. You're going to learn a lot from Carter. Carter has brought a lot to the table. Carter, how long have you been in the business?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. So he's a year and a half. He's a six-figure earner. He's crushing it in real estate right now. So I know he's got a lot to give, and we're going to make sure we kind of unpack what he's doing. But Carter, tell us, go ahead and tell the audience, if they don't know you, tell them who you are, where you're located, and what you do.
Okay. Yeah, Carter Pear. I'm in Auburn, Alabama. I'm a real estate agent on the ACUF Weekly team. And just year and a half in real estate, servicing all of Lee County, Phoenix City, Smith Station, pretty much anything in Alabama. But I've also recently gotten my Georgia license. So I'm from Columbus, Georgia, and now, transitioning and more of my business over into Columbus.
Awesome. Well, so you're from Columbus. So let's talk a little bit about, let's tell everyone, let's get more into your story. Like, where did you come from and before real estate, and tell us a little bit about what you did and how you came about coming to Auburn.
Okay. Yeah. So from Columbus, went to Hardaway High School, big baseball sports guy. I was always a lifetime Auburn fan. Dad and granddad went to Auburn. And so I always had this dream of going there. So Alex and I, we met at Columbus State right out of high school. That's where we made our first connection. And then later on, after coming to Auburn, it was a big passion of mine to try and get into business and understand the workings of business. So I went to Auburn and got a supply chain management degree. And after about 5 years in the supply chain world, that's when I finally kind of picked up the phone one day and said, I haven't called Alex in a while. And that's a little snippet of how everything worked. But I picked up the phone to try and come into real estate, passively at first. And, was thinking this could be a great side hustle. And then next thing you know, I'm taking the real estate exam and having the conversation with my wife about, maybe I should jump into this full time. So
yeah, so you hit on it a little bit, and I'd love for you to kind of because what I really think today is about, if you're a newer agent or if you're even thinking about getting to real estate, I think one thing you're going to really resonate with Carter on is the fact that you came from a corporate position. So you went to school, you got a great degree, very applicable in today's world, working in supply chain. You had a lot of great opportunities, great job offers. Tell us a little bit about, like, you were working at DHL, and talk to us a little bit how, going from working at DHL to real estate, what kind of led you down the path of, opportunity after college, working that opportunity, and then jumping ship into real estate. Kind of what was going through your mind, and tell us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I had a lot of great opportunities with DHL. The company provided amazing training. They really set me up for success and to where I am now. Honestly, I don't know that I could be where I am now without having that experience. The corporate world teaches you accountability. It teaches you timelines, especially logistics. You are second by second by second. You are having to manage things. Look at a computer, technology. You're incorporating technology, people, building relationships, and everything is just very, very fast paced with 6 tiers of managers above you. So you have a lot of milestones you have to hit. I think that what that did for me, though, is it allowed me to come into real estate with more structure and more experience with people. And when you come from an environment like I did, where I was managing hundreds of people, there managing hundreds of people and having multiple bosses. Well, now I'm in real estate and basically every client is my boss that I answer to. So there was a relatability there, and something I know helped me transition. And even like the technology, just to hit on that a little bit more. So Auburn provided a lot of experience through spreadsheets, learning how to use Microsoft Excel, learning how to use programs and software to benefit me and strengthen my career in supply chain. But then I was able to kind of also bring that into real estate as well. So that's been a great base coming into this industry.
Yeah. And so kind of having that base, I will say, just a little bit of a brag point for me is that, bringing Carter on the team was a great opportunity for us as an opportunity to really grow our team. Carter has brought a lot to the table as far as his ability to utilize his background in logistics, which is what I love. I love it when we interview people and we kind of dig deep and we find out what they're really passionate about, what they're really good at. And when they come into the real estate industry, they adapt it, they use it, and they put it into play. It's just like, for example, me, I came from going business to business door knocking. I wasn't really passionate about the door knocking part of it, but I was passionate about the sales process and the marketing process. And I love developing people and leading people. So those are some passions that I brought from doing outside sales into the real estate market. Whereas Carter's come in and he's taken like our CRM, our customer relationship manager, and he's really dug deep. He's done his homework. He created a lot of great automations within the system. I call it kind of our CRM 2.0. So I do appreciate what all you've done with that. And so with that transition into real estate, so let's get into, you've got your real estate license, you've come into real estate, you've joined the team. Let's talk about, I want the new agents out there to really kind of just stay honed in on this interview. And I want you to talk a little bit about some of the things that really propelled your career and really helped you get started, get going. So what are some of like those systems, those processes? What does that look like? What did that look like for you?
Well, first and foremost, I burned the boats. I'll
There
tell
you
you
go.
that. That was
Boom.
like
That's a bomb drop right there.
put in the
Burn the boat.
notice, burned the boat, and just dove in with 2 feet, didn't look back. And I had my wife that was supporting me. I think that was by far first and foremost. Before I even get off onto like the systems and everything, is I got the support first. And, I asked for permission first without asking for forgiveness, kind of thing. But no, I had a lot of support, a lot of emotional support, a lot of family backing behind me. I think that's important before you even get to that point. Is you got to tell your friends, you got to tell your family, you got to get the buy-in, you got to build a little confidence so that when you jump into it, I was, okay, how can I, like, what's the next step? I found myself coming in and going, I'm coming from this fast-paced world, and everything is like boom, 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 boom. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do? How do I train? Who do I go with? Whose door do I knock on? Who do I call? And you're kind of like, whoa, let's get you just set up.
Yeah.
So there was a big transition there in the beginning of, getting the realtor.com profile set up, Zillow set up, like all the profiles and the changing Facebook and changing all of that front end stuff to sort of like just transition my whole image into this, instead of this logistics guy that never posts and never is on Facebook, to now all of a sudden I'm front and center trying to push out social media. Yeah. So it was multi-level on that. And it was a huge learning curve to get back into Facebook and social media. And I relied on team members that a lot of times were younger than I was, that had been on TikTok when that was coming out and these social media platforms, just to learn about it, even though I knew it wasn't necessarily like key to my success immediately. So
Annalise, if you're watching, he's talking about you.
Yeah. So that was a huge learning curve. I knew the computer, I knew the systems, I knew I could learn. I just needed to be pointing the right direction.
Right.
And I think it takes a hunger. It takes hey, this has got to happen. It's got to work. I got to make it. And I think one of the most influential things that I did though was Bigger Pockets podcast and some of those real estate related podcasts that kept me motivated on a daily basis. And then having the team support or having, a mentor type of situation that said, hey, look, stand here, do this, this is how you do it. And that's what, really launched everything, was to have a good support group that showed me, what to do.
So what we're hearing here is, if you're watching this, the quick breakdown is that not just ask for permission, but have buy-in from your family.
Have buy-in, yeah.
Get the buy-in. And I liked what you said about you had to change your image, and that's really a tough thing for a lot of people. I think that's where you really drop the ego and you go, okay, I go from logistics into realtor, and what does realtor look like at a high level? And you're now modeling success in order to get to that point, right? Right. It's not necessarily fake it till you make it, but it's that you put yourself in a position where you've burned the boats. You've got the buy-in, you've got the commitment from family and friends, the people around you that are going to really be your foundational support for that every day. You've joined a team, you've put yourself in an environment where you're going to learn every day. You're going to have people that have gone through the goods, the bads, and the uglies of the market. And then you're also feeding yourself every single day with podcasts, audible books, keeping your motivation up. People do not realize on the back end how much work realtors are doing on themselves. And that's what I've always really loved about what we do, is that people don't realize, and they're like, oh, you're just a realtor. You wake up at 9 a.m. and you go and list a home, or you go and show a home and sell it. But they have no idea the amount of effort that it takes to get yourself up, get yourself motivated, get your engine running, and getting it moving at the highest level, to where every day you wake up, you're not hired by anybody. You're looking for a new boss, right? And so you've got to bring the energy, you've got to bring a plan, and you've got to learn to execute that every day. Because look, success is a boring thing. It really is. It's doing the same boring things over and over again. What does Tim and Julie Harris say? It's doing the things you don't want to do when you don't want to do them at the highest level. So I think you and the rest of the team have really embodied that. And so I think it's just very important for the new agents to hear this, because I think this is really kind of a raw filter for them to understand exactly what they're getting into in real estate, and how, and this is really a great way to approach it.
Yeah, right? I think too, like you said, like, you have to kind of hear, everyone has a different story, but it's everything's the same in the fact that you gotta want it, and you got to have that mentality of like, there's no turning back. And I think those are the type of situations that I have to kind of wake myself up in sometimes. And, there's going to be days that you're just not feeling it, or you had 2 or 3 hard situations. Or like this past weekend, I had an open house that nobody showed up at. And then I went to another showing, and it was, just one of the worst showings I had. And it was just 2 daggers in one day. And you had to kind of like brush yourself off sometimes and go, okay, keep moving, let's go. And it's got to be, I think a lot of people maybe from sports would probably relate well to that mentality. And like people that have been involved in competitive things can really relate. But
yeah, I think it's just really important for people to hear that. So now we've gotten up and running in your business. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are working for you today. I think it's very important. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So let's talk a little bit about, well, actually, let's back up. How was Build for you? So if you are listening to this, tell the audience what Build is, and go ahead and just go on a tangent.
Build 22 was life-changing, 100%. It's a big, huge event where EXP agents can all get together. It was a massive networking opportunity. There was a lot of inspiration speakers that came in. Tony Robbins was the headliner. I got to meet Jarrett Robinson. I just walked straight up to him. That's Tony Robbins' son. And I was like, I'm meeting this guy. It was a awesome opportunity to network with some of the most massive people in the real estate industry, and to be able to, after the event, see them at a restaurant or see them out. And these are people that are multi-millionaires, billionaires, people that are extremely successful, and you're able to walk up to them and go, "Hey, what did you do? And what would you do in my situation?" Or,
Right.
"Hey, what's a great tip that you can give me?" And these guys just rattle off 20 minutes worth of just gold. And I've never been in a situation where I've had that many successful people openly and willingly telling me what they're doing, what works in their city, what works for them. Just golden opportunity after golden opportunity to network with people, get their business card, and then follow up with them, and then invite me on a Zoom, and then invite me, and they're just bringing you into the fold. And I was absolutely blown away.
Mhm.
The information that I learned um, at that event was, it really allowed me to kind of hyper focus that back on my own business, and the kind of like bird's eye view, take a look back at what I'm doing and how I'm actually grasping at too many real estate opportunities at one time. Instead of doing 1,000 things 6 times, let's do 6 things 1,000 times. So that's more what I learned out of that. And also, like, what am I good at? Okay. Getting in front of people, talking to people, building relationships. I need to get into open houses. I need to get in front of people. I need to build relationships with real estate agents. So that's where I just completely changed and honed everything back in. And I made some good friendships. I made some great networking opportunities in other cities for referrals. It was just like layer upon layer of excellent, excellent things. And you know, I couldn't be happier that I went.
Yeah, I know. I'm super pumped you went with me. I really am. I thought you gave me the exact reaction I was expecting. You were probably going to give me like, holy
I was
cow.
like, the whole time. There was one
Um,
point when, like, I gotta say this. It was one point when Tony Robbins, where I think I even said this. I was like, I laughed. My mind was blown. I cried a little bit. We were upset.
I
It
think
was
we just
back. It was like an emotional roller coaster, and I came out of that and I went, "Oh my god, that
I
was
know.
incredible."
I had to dedicate a whole TikTok video to reading off the quotes that I got from Tony Robbins. It was so good. But
uh,
at those events, you learn so many. Here's the thing to tell people that are watching this. If you're watching this today, Carter, was it worth the flight and the cost to get into the event to go? What
Yeah, oh
was the
my
return
gosh,
on
it
that?
was worth 20 times what we paid to get into that.
Yeah,
I think at the time I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is
I
going to
know.
be I think it was like a $700 ticket," and I was like, "Oh, that's a big kind of chunk that you weren't expecting." And then I get out there and I'm like, "Man, I would have paid $15,000 to come out here."
No kidding. I mean, well, you don't know until you know, right?
All
It's
right,
like one of those. It's like when I was and I tell you this, I tell everyone this. Like when everyone showed me the EXP model, it's like you don't know what you don't know until
that's
you
right.
see it. And when you see it, it's like literally branded in my head.
Yeah,
So it's just one of those things. Like I will never sacrifice not going to an event like that when I know there's so much more I'm going to get out of it than the price of admission, right?
right.
So it's really about what is the price of the investment, right? So you're going to continue to pour in, and you really should always be pouring into yourself as much as possible. So that's awesome. We've covered the build event. Let's talk a little bit about. I want you to actually talk about Facebook real quick. We didn't really discuss this before this interview, but I just want to cover, like, there's a lot of things that we learned at Build that I think you're implementing and doing at a really high level. But one thing I'd like for you to talk about is what we learned from the guy about Facebook. I can't remember his name. It's
I
leaving my
can't
mind.
tell all my secrets, Alex. I just can't tell everything.
Well,
I'll
let's
tell
just
this one.
one.
I'll tell this one.
Just one.
So
Just one.
this guy, we sat next to him at Build, and it's like you've known people for 20 years. So we just sit down, you start talking, start shaking hands, just happened to sit next to this guy, and he's the friendliest guy from North Carolina, I believe it is. And we start talking about like how we're building our businesses and what are you doing and what are you doing? And so he says, well, I built my entire business on Facebook. I basically use the algorithm to my advantage, and I like 50 posts. I comment on 20, and I DM at least 5 people every day. And I was like, okay, wow, that seems like a lot. And he said, oh, it's, you may comment and say nice or happy birthday or congratulations or that's awesome or something small. It doesn't have to be anything big. The likes are easy. You can rip down those. I think the way I've also taken this a step further is when I'm having my open house, I'm tagging the local businesses around the area into my post and then trying to kind of leverage not only my network of like 2,500 or 2,700 friends, what if I can leverage all of their friends and their contacts and their people and try to reach, let's say if I could reach, 40,000 people even and see if I can like really blow this up. Yeah, Joel Hargett. But he's the one that like gave me this, and I've gotten on a phone call and we've back and forth, said, hey, I'm doing this. And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. Or he gives me another good idea. We're kind of just also learning and building off that. But his mentor and his coach told him about that. And it's been working for him. And he's built a really good referral base off of it.
Yeah. So shout out to Joel. I wanted to make sure we got his name.
Yeah, Joel.
So if you're looking to buy or sell in the Charlotte area, we want you to work with Joel Hargett, and I want you to send a referral to Pair.
Yeah, man, he's an awesome guy. Great family. Him and his wife, they're both real estate agents. And
man, just salt of the earth people.
Very nice. So
yeah, they're very cool. All right, man, that sounds awesome. So we're about 20 minutes into it. We'll kind of get towards the end here. So let's talk a little bit about why EXP, right? So I want you to kind of, from your perspective as a new agent, why did you choose to partner with me at EXP?
Well, first of all, I think it's a lot of people make decisions off of emotion. All right. And I think for one of the things, I reached out to you and I wanted to know more about real estate. Not necessarily, I didn't even know what EXP was. And I had friends and family that are with, other brokerages, and I've heard, how they work. But my first decision was to just kind of sit down and just get a bird's eye view of just what the industry looks like. And as I learned more from the 2-hour lunch I think we went on and the napkin presentation and everything else, was that it's a pretty cool model of how revenue share works, and how bringing agents into the company is a revenue stream. How, especially, it resonated with me, and how you can close a deal and you get stock in the company, and now I'm an owner in the company, and now I have this equity position. And coming from a background where my dad knows a lot about stocks and really cultivated that knowledge with my brother and I early on, it made sense. And I had a 401k, and then I'm looking at this going, wow, there's a couple of revenue streams, and then transactions is a revenue stream, and I'm noticing that there are so many other ways to make money, and then also becoming a mentor, you can make money that way. So there's like all these opportunities. And then I went and talked with some family friends, and I'm like, wow, I'm thinking about getting into real estate, or I shouldn't say thinking about it at that time. I was like, I'm getting my license, and this seems really cool over here. What are you guys doing? And then they start explaining it. I'm like, man, that's like 2 ways to make money. This Alex over here just told me there's like more than 2, Yeah. And so that, to me, I was really blown away. And then also how the technology, how I can go meet with my broker and pull my laptop up and meet with him within a few minutes. And so the forward thinking technology, multiple ways of making money, when a good thing kind of flaps in your lap a little bit, so to speak, it was hard to ignore. And I think after sitting down, seeing the model, and just opening myself up to just at least listening, and without any bias or having really any previous experience, I was able to really open up and hear better, probably more than most. But I'd say that's
awesome. Well, I think you took definitely a much more holistic approach to understanding the brokerage model, for sure. Because most people just come for typically one thing, and I would say I bet 80% come for the splits in the cap, right? So the 80-20 split, the 16K cap, and most people stay for the environment, right? Once you dive into the culture, once you dive into this environment, once you learn to start interacting with the people that are doing it at a higher level than you, you realize how much more fun you have. Like, I never liked being, not to toot a horn, but you don't want to be the top agent at your brokerage, right? Because if you're the top agent at your brokerage, then where's the next level, right? Where is the next step? So we're constantly chatting with people. I'm chasing a team that does 2,600 transactions, right? That's mind blowing. That's over 10x our business, 10x, right? So, there's a long ways to go. There's a long ways to go in this game, and we need great leaders. We need great people to help continue to build this massive foundation of amazing agents that just love to give back, love to improve other people's businesses and their lives. Because ultimately, it sounds cheesy, but we're here to change lives, right? If you can increase someone's income 50, 60, 100%, that changes their lifestyle. So it really gives us the opportunity to have the ball in our court to make those decisions, right? So with people joining or looking at EXP from a holistic view, is maybe one or two things that you would say to someone that is considering EXP to have them take a look at, or would you give any advice to them?
I think that there's a couple of different reasons why someone would join EXP. I know we've talked about it before, but what it is there's people that I feel that join for the revenue share and the team building, and maybe they have a big organization with them, and that makes a lot of sense where they can cut a lot of costs, legal fees, and transactional, all these transaction fees and people and building. And printers and all this technology, it makes sense for them in that aspect. But then there's also people that say, hey, look, I'm not into building a big team. I just want to have great splits and make more commission and have a good environment around me. And I think that's hitting on both. EXP kind of hits on both of those, because we have the support group of the agent mastermind, and we have the multiple resources. We have Jenny Williams who gave up her entire all of her notes for her entire coaching program that we have access to. And I mean, there's endless ways to be great if you just click the button and open it up and start reading. I mean, it's all accessible. So I think that there's two different types of people that from what I've experienced that come into EXP and the reasons they come. And we can kind of hit on both of those. So
yeah. So when and something you just said is like when you said opening up the information. What is that one thing? If a new agent's coming over and you're saying, hey, look, we've got everything you need. We've got all the training, and we're telling people it's a cloud-based brokerage that we need you to join in on the Zooms, open up your computer, open up the files, join Jenny Williams closing, her training, show up to those on this day at this time. As far as like motivating people to get on that board, what would you tell a new agent, like their expectations for basically how we talked about, getting your morning up and running? How do you get people, how would you tell someone to prepare themselves to attack the day as a new agent?
So I've got a couple of good podcasts I can give you that's going to get you motivated into the end of the day. Right. And it's not just we have all the information. We have the right information. There's a reason why I came into real estate and closed my first deal a month later. It's because there was that right information that was laid out right there that said, this is how you do it. This is how you're successful. This is how you help people. This is how you protect people. And also protect yourself. And I think that you got to have the right information, not an overload, because that's the most important.
For sure.
Get a couple podcasts and get you, help us, let us help you get those systems in place. Okay. I think more than anything, those kind of daily systems. So
go ahead and give the audience, what's one great podcast you're listening to right now?
Ramen, I'll give him a little shout out. It was a Rob Flick podcast that he put me on, and I need to go super deep in learning more and more about EXP rev share and just the inner workings of relating to people and sharing the word and being able to you know, open people up and allow them to see the opportunity without being pushy or salesy or pushing them into this because it's got to be your decision to do it. So that's what I'm really excited about. And he sent it to me last night. We had a long conversation, and
Nice.
I'm excited. So,
oh, and one thing I want to touch on before I get this thing closed out for us today is Carter is a mentor. Can you quickly tell the audience what that means to be a mentor for eXp Realty?
yes, so it's a time commitment. It is an opportunity for me to help new people coming into the business. It is a great passion of mine. I did a lot of mentoring in my time at DHL. I did a lot of mentoring even before that in other roles that I've been in, even all the way back to being a bartender, server, things in
Yeah.
college and things like that. But it's a big passion. The mentorship to me is huge. I've got a guy that I'm mentoring right now that's a close friend that joined EXP and became a realtor. And what that does, though, is it allows me to have to also benefit off that passion, right? So I'm going to have an opportunity to make monetary gain off of that mentorship program. So I'm helping, I'm giving back, I'm also benefiting at the same time.
Mhm.
And it only encourages me to continue to drive and continue to make him more and more successful, because as he's more successful, we're more successful together. Our Lee County is more successful, and our organization just gets stronger. So it's a pretty great multi-win situation.
Cool. Very
Yes.
cool. So, for anyone that's watching, if you're new, you're looking, if you're under 3 transactions, I think that's what it is. If you haven't closed 3 transactions and you come to EXP, if you're a brand new agent or if you're an agent from another company, haven't closed anything, they're going to require you to have a mentor in the company. And so you can have the opportunity to join under Carter. So if you guys are looking for an opportunity to really grow your business, especially in a shifting market, I really got no one better than Carter on here right now that can teach you exactly how to navigate that process and how to navigate yourself to starting closing transactions, pretty darn soon. And like he said, he just closed one within a month of joining eXp Realty. So super proud of him, super proud of all he's done over this past year and a half. I think you have just grown exponentially, and it's more of a compound effect with you, which is fantastic. And also, as we talked about opportunities with build event that happened, the next opportunity, if you're watching this and you want to experience EXP, there's a couple ways that you can join us. And I'd love to, I'd absolutely love to invite you. Carter would love to invite you. Is number one is every Monday, we have a Monday mastermind at 9 a.m. Central Time. And that is opened up to all agents. So if you're watching this and you want more in your business, you want more, you want to do more deals, you want to create a better atmosphere in your business, better environment, you want to build a real tangible business, hop on those masterminds, reach out to me or Carter Pear. We will absolutely get you that invite every Monday morning at 9 a.m. As well as we have some other opportunities that come up during the month that you can tie into as well. That is all within our network within EXP, which we call the Team Accelerate. So the X team. So let us know if we can help you with that, if you want to tie in. Also, if you want to really get in the environment of EXP and see exactly what this Kool-Aid is all about, I'd love to invite you. It's really last minute to EXPCon. If you want to come to the event, if you get a plane ticket, I will buy your ticket to enter the event. I promise you that. So reach out to me or Carter. We'd love to get you guys set up and get you guys moving into the EXP world. Other than that, Carter, you got any last minute things you want to tell our audience?
Yes, I have one last thing, which is go ahead and write down your favorite motivational quote and either put it on your phone on your background or write it down on your desk and have it there every day to look at. I have one on my phone that's Grant Cardone that says, do what you love and get all in. Eat it, breathe it, sleep it, believe it, go all in. I think going all in is very important. And anyway, that's what I want to leave everybody
Awesome.
with.
Well, I think that is a perfect way to end this interview. Thank you for coming on, Carter. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below and let Carter know how he did in this interview, or let us know who else you would love to see in this interview. All right. See you guys later.